Hello and welcome to the Blue Shadow Podcast. My name is Joey and welcome to part 2 of our 2-part series asking the question, is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge worth it? In part 1 of this series, we went through the origins of Galaxy's Edge, the story of the park, and the stuff that you can do with just the basic entry into the park, with your Disneyland or Disney World ticket. So if you haven't had a chance to give that a watch, please feel free to go give it a look and come back for part 2 where we detail the stuff that you can do that you have to pay for at Galaxy's Edge. And then, look at how much that costs and ask the question, is Galaxy's Edge worth it? With that, we hope you enjoy. We're going to transition now into the paid stuff and talk about starting with shopping. So we're moving from window shopping to shopping.
Yes, I sell Jedi robes.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about each different spot. So there are a few different spots you can shop. I'm going to talk about a few of them, and I won't go into detail about every single thing you can purchase there. You can look that up online. Yeah. But I will talk about some of the unique items that I saw there, and then what I ended up buying. So somewhere I didn't end up buying anything from, though we did have to go to First Order Cargo to ship our items from California back to Pennsylvania. It was kind of entertaining to what planet's this going to? But there's Resistance Supply and First Order Cargo. Kind of just branded stuff for that. I wasn't as interested. I'm more interested in the items to put on a shelf rather than I didn't end up getting a shirt. I might buy a hat on eBay or something because I think they're cool. But the helmets, they had tons of nifty stuff. They had these cool, I think I have one in another picture, but they had these misters that look like a moisture evaporator. The fans with the water, you put it in the squirt. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so they had a lot of interesting stuff in the First Order when they had replica binders, the handcuffs. They had, I think my wife said the First Order is freaky. And then they, what else?
They win our family-friendly rating.
It's not explicit. They have, you play Battlefront 2? They have a little droid, the Iden Versia's droid.
Oh.
Just such cool stuff. And I am a Resistance boy. I'm not a First Order boy. So the Resistance stuff wasn't quite as dynamic, but nevertheless, still very cool.
But it also fits in universe.
It does.
You would expect more First Order stuff because they're
set up there.
Yeah, quote, supposed to be there.
And you can see the Resistance is kind of in these movable things, which really fits with the story. Yeah. I've shifted on, but I wanted to go back to kind of point that out. First Order has taken over a building.
Yes, and that's
the Resistance kind of what is outposted. It's very fitting and very cool. But that then brings us to this kind of market area, which I've been showing you off and on. So I'm calling this area the smaller shops and stalls. So there are 4 shops. The first is Black Spire Outfitters, all in-universe clothes, Jedi robes, Sith robes, all of that kind of stuff you can see here. They had belts, crazy different things you can buy. I didn't spend much time in there. I wasn't really going to buy anything like that. Adults aren't allowed to wear stuff like that in the parks, actually.
But it's more for
kid safety.
Comic-Con.
If you wanted it. And we felt it. We looked at it very, very high quality. It's also very expensive. Dan was motioning the money sign. The other one that we didn't end up getting anything from, but it's very cool, is the Toydarian and Toy Maker. So they're all in-universe toys. And there was some stuff, once again, and this is going to kind of come up in one of the next shops that I'm going to talk about, is there was some stuff that was they're kind of we can put a little, they minimized the amount of things that were I could buy that at Walmart, but there was still some stuff that was let's just put it on there. One of those plush Grogu's that's sleeping. You could buy that at Target. Yes. And that's where it's for the purist, it's why? But it's fine. But they had some really cool stuff, these wooden carved figures. They actually had a Jar Jar there, a wooden carved Jar Jar. It's so funny.
Is that Stormtrooper? Is that a plush or is that wood?
It's Jyn Erso. So
I know it's Jyn Erso.
It's not wood, but it's it's like a plasticky plush kind of, a Sheriff Woody toy kind of.
Yeah.
If you had one of those.
Oh, I knew it was Jyn Erso. Yes. That's why I asked the question.
And the vehicles were all die cast. It was really cool. And there's actually a window. It's it's supposed to be like a opaque window, and you can see a Toydarian fluttering and moving back and forth as if they're preparing the toys. I don't have a picture of that.
That's cool.
We can look it up later, but feel free to look it up because it's very cool. The other 2 smaller shops are the Creature Stall, which had really, really unique Star Wars animal merchandise. I was very intrigued. I almost bought more than I actually ended up doing at the creature stall. We'll talk about what I bought. But if you can see in the screen, there's a Loth cat sleeping. It's like a nicer, like a real replica. Like you can't buy that.
Yeah.
It's like part of a fixture. And then there's puffer pigs. I almost bought a puffer pig. It was $20. I exhibited a small amount of self-control.
Yeah, you were more than I would have.
I wanted the puffer pig.
I would have bought everything.
They had baby porgs.
Oh.
And they had a lot of, I know you're an original trilogy man. They had a lot of original trilogy and prequel. Honestly, they had a Nexu. It was very cool. And then Jewels of Bith is like, there. Do you see those, the misters that I was talking about? This is where you had like more of your like gifty stuff, like nice mugs, a keychain, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
like the gift shop.
A gift shop, yeah. So what I purchased was from the creature stall. It is a Convor statue, which can actually become a pommel to a lightsaber. We're going to talk about lightsabers in a little. So as I'm doing this stuff, I'm going to show Dan, and he's seen some of this before.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show Dan.
Sweet.
It's kind of plasticky. It looks like this carved statue, though. And huge fan of Rebels, Clone Wars, Ahsoka, all of that. So I think the Convor is going to continue to be important, and it's one of my favorite Star Wars creatures because it's so mystical. Nice. So that's why I bought that. They had a lot of different ones. I honestly am using it more as a statue than a lightsaber.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool. Probably the least dynamic thing that I bought. The big shop, though, is Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. It is one of the coolest doors you enter. The building, it's got this huge round kind of look. The door is enormous and round. Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities is written in Arabesh around the door. There's this like statue. It's like crates sitting outside of it as if things are constantly coming and going. This was my favorite store in the place. Ooh. In addition to the area where you can shop, above it are these like replicas. There's like a stuffed Tauntaun head. There's Ezra's Scout Trooper helmet. Wish I could buy that. Could not.
Oh, not for sale?
Not for sale. It's just like they have like a Mandalorian helmet. They have all these different crazy things on top of the merchandise. This is where you can buy different colored kyber crystals. You can buy holocrons. You can see it was a little different. This picture's a little older on the screen if you look here, but there's this wall where there are these repeating like holes that are either blue or red, and they're holocrons just sitting in them, as if it's like Jedi or Sith archives. I did not buy a kyber, or I did not buy a holocron.
That's for your second visit.
I think so.
Perhaps we should take a blue shadow business excursion.
That would be a fun business excursion. We can write it off. Tell my wife that. But you can put the kyber crystals into the holocron, and then whoever's kyber crystal you have, it'll speak to you.
That's cool.
And we're going to talk in just a second about what I bought, and you're going to say, how did you not buy one, given the kyber crystal that you got? This is also where they have the character lightsabers. I have a few of these. I have Rey Skywalker's yellow lightsaber, which is of incredible quality. It's really heavy. I really like it. Then I also have Kanan's, which feels very, you've held it. It feels very like inexpensive, light compared to it. So
I don't want to say that.
I think these are of mixed quality, but it is a way to get lightsabers that, again, Hasbro's not going to make. They have Jedi Count Dooku. They have had Ben Solo. They had Cal Kestis. There's so many that they have. And they had Ezra's, which I had to fight buying. I was going to buy Ezra's lightsaber, but I had to control yourself, Joseph.
I'm trying to see whose they are. I mean, I can do what it's Luke, Leia, Anakin, Rey, Ahsoka, Cal Kestis, and this is where it gets tricky.
That's Ben Solo there.
But
it's like his Ben Solo lightsaber, not
Ben
Kylo
Solo,
Ren.
Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Darth Maul. Don't know who that is.
Darth Maul Clone Wars. Darth Maul Clone Wars.
Oh.
Yeah. Like from season 7.
Yeah, and then Palpatine and Dooku.
Yep, and it honestly was, and you see the Darksaber in the back?
Oh, yeah.
It's a little different now. Like, there was some stuff not there. Like, Dooku's regular one wasn't there. His Jedi one was there.
Boo.
Ahsoka's regular ones were there, but also her white ones were there.
Interesting.
So they had tons of stuff.
So, like, theoretically, let's say I wanted to get, I have a Dooku one.
Yes, you do.
But let's say I wanted to get another one, the kind where the blade comes out, and they only had the Jedi one.
That's all you could get.
That's...
Well, they retired them. Like, you can't get Ben Solos anymore either.
Oh.
Yeah, they cycle them in and out. And I think they'll bring them back periodically. They had Kiadi Mundis. Don't worry.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate. But, so this store, though, Doc Ondar's, this is merchandise that's been, like, antiquities. Draws up thoughts of, like, I've went and collected these artifacts from mysterious places. So That's kind of the novelty here, and I love this store. So also around it though are like lots of little details. Like there's a baby sarlacc. If you're looking at the screen, you can see it's in like this container, and the sarlacc's sticking out, and then they have it like cut inside so you can see like the body.
It's like an anthill.
Just like an anthill. There's, if you look on the screen here, there's Doc Ondar. He's in a cage. He's in a Thorian. And this is an animatronic that's just constantly twiddling away. You can't talk to it, obviously, but it's just in the background typing on stuff, touching a data pad. Like, it's constantly moving around. And here you can see some different icons around. You can see the Mandalorian helmet. You can see all these different helmets. The Andor symbol.
A lot of blasters.
Yeah, a lot of blasters, a lot of weapons. Very cool. Very, very, very cool stuff. And I just really enjoyed that.
Are those lightsabers off to the bottom left?
Yes. So those are like the lightsaber blades if you wanted to test out a hilt. The glass table we looked at was to the left and runs the length of the store.
Oh.
From Doc Ondar,
so
where he's sitting.
Does it repeat then each case?
Yeah, there's two really large cases that repeat.
Okay. So if you were to theoretically get one, would they pull it right out of the case, or would they go grab
I think they have like one to test and hand to you and then put it back. It's very well oiled because you'd see people trying them. Like taking it for a test ride. Can I take it outside, twirl it around a little?
Speaking of that, would they let you take it outside, or did you have to stay?
They wouldn't let. I did not see anyone taking it outside.
Yeah.
They let you have lightsabers outside. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what did I buy? So the first is one Dan's already seen. It's a kyber crystal. This is the second series of kyber crystals that have them in this cool case that's similar to the kyber crystal storage in Rogue One. I got a yellow crystal for my favorite character, and I actually got Rey. So I don't know if you've seen this making the rounds on the internet recently, but it's like our first post Rise of Skywalker Rey content. Like she talks, if you put that in a holocron, she'll talk from the perspective of like post Rise of Skywalker.
Cool.
I know that we can look at it online. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. The other thing that I bought, and this is one Dan hasn't seen, is in fact a Sith Wayfinder. Again, a very special item. You're not going to see Hasbro making that.
Probably.
And it comes in this cool box. And if you're looking at the video, like it looks like the one Kylo Ren got the Wayfinder from. And you pull it out. It sits upside down, just like it did in the movie. And then you pull it out. And it can actually interact with the kyber crystals. It comes with this little cable. And it lights up based on the kyber crystal you put near it.
Whoa.
It's really cool. If you turn it on, Dan, there's a switch on the bottom. It actually lights up just like the actual one. And it lets out an occasional Palpatine cackle unprovoked. So it's kind of creepy. If it's not lighting up, we can play with that later.
I don't think it is, but
that's okay. We'll look at it later. And click that off and I'll get that out of your hair. But so yeah, I could have bought way more. They had crazy stuff. Like they had this like bronze cast Darth Vader's castle that I think my wife was tempted by. They had like a Rey's like satchel. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of Jedi stuff. They had like replica credits, like metal, and the calamari flan from The Mandalorian. If you want it, chances are they have. Like the Wayfinder was like my dream replica thing I wanted. Mm-hmm. When they said they were making it, I was like, oh my god. And I didn't know they were still going to have it.
Yeah.
And they weren't, like it was often a showcase, but the little boxes were kind of like at the bottom shelf, just so you could like grab one anywhere. Mm-hmm. I was so excited. So that brings a conclusion to the shopping. Do you have any thoughts on the shopping before we move on?
I don't think so. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Is there something you thought might be missing?
I mean, that's a loaded question. Is there anything that I thought might be missing without seeing what was all there?
Now, they have some... That is true. I've only given you a small snippet. They don't have... Like, if you want to buy, like, a Darth Vader action figure, they have a separate store near Star Tours, which is not in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
That you could buy a Darth Vader, like, plushie.
So this is mostly... All the shopping in Galaxy's Edge is technically in-universe stuff that you could wear.
Yes.
So, like, does that mean they'd have, like... I know that you said they had replica helmets. Could I get a replica Darth Vader full-size helmet there? Or
yes.
No? Oh, sweet.
Certain helmets. Mandalorian, First Order Stormtrooper, which tempted me. Mm-hmm. But it...
And are those Hasbro or are those Disney...
Mix. I saw... The Darth Vader helmet was just the Black Series helmet. Mm-hmm. The First Order Stormtrooper helmet has been retired in the Black Series. Mm-hmm. So I think this was like a Disney one. So it's mixed. Okay. Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would prefer, honestly. The Black Series ones are really nice. But... I did want to say one little criticism I had was, and this is like when I talked about like 5 years it's been open, you can tell they're starting to loosen up a little. in Doc Ondar's next to my Wayfinder was a Phantom Menace 25th anniversary shirt. Which, again,
What are you gonna do?
what do you get? That
How many times will be the 25th anniversary of a movie?
Not. That's it. And it's a special one. And it's like, oh, well, who cares? It didn't ruin my day. It didn't even make me frown. I was just like, oh, well, let me go get my Wayfinder.
That's fair. So did you know what you were going to get when you walked in? Did you have like a list?
No. Well, actually, yes. I knew I was going to get a Kyber Crystal. Yes. And I knew I wanted to get something special. Mm-hmm. Something you could only get there. I thought the Wayfinder wasn't going to be there. I'm not going to lie.
So if the Wayfinder wasn't there, what would you have gotten?
That's an excellent question. They had a Camtono. You know, like the storage thing that looks like an ice cream maker.
Yes.
That potentially, or I would have just devoted the extra resources to getting that Ezra lightsaber or Cal lightsaber, probably. But the Wayfinder was, in fact, my first choice. And there's actually two in the movie. There's like a darker one and a lighter one. If you see in the picture, I got the lighter one. Mm-hmm. And there is a way, based on like the positioning of the dots on the lid, to know which one you got. But I didn't know that till after. I didn't really have a preference.
Okay, that's my next question.
Yeah, no. So that, after talking about the shopping, I want to talk about the food. So Dan was very excited about the Coca-Cola droids. Everything from the fountains to the bottles were Star Wars themed Coke products.
Sweet.
So if you look on the screen, you can see like the fountains are actually branded. Like they have a Minute Maid lemonade and Arbesh Powerade logo, Sprite. It's so cool and so clever. Now, these were like $7. I did not buy one of these as much as I wanted to. The little bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they look like thermal detonators. They're so cool. But still cool to just walk around and see.
Yeah.
There are more formal restaurants here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kind of breeze through these a little, and I'm only going to talk about what we got. If you're interested, there's lots of different stuff. Very cool. Please consider looking at the menu if you're on the fence about going. The first one I'm going to talk about is one we didn't do, and that's Katsaka's Kettle. Mm-hmm. It's fancy Star Wars popcorn.
I've seen this.
There's
it's
like the colorful
colors.
They used to sell Mantel Mix from the Bad Batch, which I probably would have been tempted to buy, but they didn't have it.
Yeah.
I was also tempted by Crate Salt popcorn. It was like dusted with red salt.
Ooh.
Very cool. But again, we were doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't need to get that. The next one I'm going to talk about is the milk stand. This is like, I feel like this is like a big ticket heavy hitter. So they have these cool like jugs looking of milk, both blue and green. And the picture on the screen here is my wife and I's different milk. She got the orange or the green milk with this like strawberry puree and boba. Mm-hmm. It was like a seasonal like special. And I just got your base blue milk.
Now that to me looks like it's like a slushie.
It's a slushie.
Okay.
I think they knew better than to try and sell milk at a theme park.
You never know.
And if you like, did I give you some of the blue milk?
Yeah.
So
tasted vanilla.
They just released for May the 4th an actual vanilla blue milk at the store. It's crazy. You should try it if you haven't.
Yeah.
But this was not vanilla. This was like different like coconut milk, rice milk with like some fruit kind of. So it was like my wife's was more like citrusy or like grapefruity kind of, like more tropical almost. I'm not describing this well. And the food tasted very unique. They went through great lengths to like combine different influences to make it taste otherworldly.
Yeah. Mine
tasted a little more, the blue milk tasted a little more like, you know, kind of like a fruity slushy.
It looks
like
refreshing.
It was refreshing. It was kind of starting to get warm in that picture. But it was really good. I really liked it. A little pricey, but I would get it again. Okay. I almost got another one before we left, but
that's fair.
We were running low on time. This is Ray's polystarch portion bread. So I got to try Ray's bread. It did not grow. It was in a pretty little packaged thing, but it was interesting. This covering on top of it. It was like a croissant with like the sweet filling and this like savory sweet mix of this like kind of crust on top of it. It was weird. It was good, but it was weird.
It looks interesting.
It was interesting. I'm glad we got it. It was definitely a little weird though. That next then takes us to Ronto Roasters. The big ticket item at Galaxy's Edge, I think, for food is the Ronto wrap. We didn't get our lunch or dinner here. We got breakfast here. But this is kind of what it looks like. There's this droid. You saw Chewie over on the other side of this droid, like yelling at him in the earlier pictures. But it's cooking the meat with a pod racer engine.
That's cool.
That's obviously not what you're actually eating, but it's like rotating on a spit with a pod racer engine. You can see it on the screen there if you're watching the video version. And again, I do want to point out, as has been the case throughout the rest of this video, like a picture that doesn't have a little credit on the bottom is a picture that I've taken. So it looks just like the stock pictures, even though my quality sometimes isn't quite as good. But what did we get? We got breakfast. So we got the Ronto morning wrap, which had eggs, pork sausage, which is like kind of like a hot dog, shredded cheddar and peppercorn sauce, and it was in like this pita wrap. It was so good.
It looks delicious.
I mean,
that looks like something you can make at home, too.
It does. And they actually released the Ronto wrap recipe. Maybe we should make an episode making...
What is the Ronto wrap? Or is
that
like,
next? It's like... I didn't get it. It's like the grilled pork sausage with pork and then a slaw. So it's very similar, but this is just the breakfast version. And then to drink, we got Mei Lu Run juice. I love Star Wars Rebels, even the first season when it's all silly. And Hera's favorite fruit is the Mei Lu Run. And boy, did I like it. I don't know if I would have liked it if it wasn't Mei Lu Run, but again, the magic swept me away. Yeah. And it's a combination of pineapple juice, lemonade, blueberry, cranberry juice, lemon juice, and pear. You see what I mean about they combine stuff in such a way where it's like this is a new fruit that I'm trying. Yeah. It's so interesting and so cool. So that was Ronto Wraps. That was breakfast. Okay. For lunch, we didn't really end up eating like a full dinner. We got like a little thing somewhere else, but this is our big Star Wars meal. It was Docking Bay 7. This is kind of like an airport sort of situation where the you have this like shipping crates all around, all these little details, and this is where they have like more substantial food. You can see here we ended up sitting in this like yellow shipping crate. It was so cool. And there's actual Mei Lu runs that's dangling from that crate, actually, so I had to like stop and take a picture of that.
That's pretty cool.
But like the menu looks Star Warsy. There's a description of what it is, and they kind of ride the line with you're eating a Star Wars critter and you're eating chicken. Yeah. So you can see here, and I'll have the description of what these are in just a second. But we have these 3 different things, and we got our CAF, our Star Wars coffee, which was fun.
It looked like Cocoa Puffs.
So we had the cold brew black calf, which was this cold brew topped with a sweet cream foam, and it's actually cream cheese foam, which is interesting. I don't know if I'd have been able to pick that out without seeing it on the menu. Yeah. And it was topped with what seemed like space things, but it was just Cocoa Puffs. It was really cool, really good.
Were you cuckoo?
I was cuckoo. I was more cuckoo by the fact that when you drink it and you'd think you were getting a Cocoa Puff, but you got ice. I was not cuckoo about that, but it was still very good. And my primary meal was the Shockin' beef with Tatooine bounty, so the cows with the giant butts from Naboo. I ate that. It was intriguing. It was really good. Yeah. It was like this beef with kale and peppers and onions and this like spicy avocado sauce. Again, tasted like something I could make, but there was just that little extra flair, like the avocado-based sauce that tasted really different. Yeah. And then my wife's primary meal was Andorian fried chicken tip yip. And that's crispy chicken, roasted pepper, mashed potatoes, this gravy, and like charred broccolini. It was really good. I was intrigued by it. It's simple, but also really unique in the sense of the way they presented like the sides. And then to split, which ended up being me eating it because she thought it was too spicy, we got the fried chicken baos, which were crispy chicken and baos with spicy sauce and slaw. Very good. And again, all of this together, you taste it like you're eating things from like different influences, you feel like you're eating in space. Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't give you the cool spork anymore because people stole them. Oh. But I did eat it with a normal Earth fork, but it's okay. So yeah, that was Docking Bay 7. And the last thing in terms of food I want to talk about is the cantina.
This is what I've seen all online.
This was my favorite food-based experience.
Okay.
Mainly alcohol-based. So we made a reservation. We were kind of running to the reservation because of what we were doing prior that we're going to talk about shortly. And we get in, we sit down, and this is a place where you could sit with other people, just random people, and we didn't end up having to do that, which was nice. We went very close to when they closed. Like we were the waiter's last table. And you have 45 minutes, and you can get 2 drinks each. Oh. Yeah. So it's kind of quick you got to kind of hoof it down. Yeah. So this is the cantina, and I have this video that I got here just to kind of show like the energy. You can see like the bar's steaming. The people are moving around. There's lights everywhere. The tables actually light up. You can see just like the IG heads that were actually like part of the bar in the cantina in episode 4 are actually here. It's just so well done. I felt so immersed might have been, other than Rise of the Resistance, the most immersed that I felt, because you're sitting at this table, the walls kind of curve up, you feel like you're in a Star Wars bar, and
It looks it, yeah.
It's wonderful, and you've rode Star Tours, right?
The original.
So this guy used to be involved in. This is Rex.
Mm-hmm.
He's been taken out. 3PO's fully in Star Tours. This guy's now the DJ at the cantina, and they're playing this space music, and you feel like you're in Star Wars. They had like a remix. He's like, "This is a remix of a cool one," and then he plays the cantina song.
Nice.
And there was this like definitely stage thing where the bartender is like, "Everybody out, we're closed," and then like the other employees start yelling at it. It was just. They go through great lengths to make it feel immersive. But for our drinks, I don't have every drink here, but the ones that I really want to point out are the Takadana Quencher. It was Bacardi Dragonberry Rum, Blue Curacao, orange juice with pineapple and kiwi.
Mm-hmm.
That was what my wife got first, and then one of our friends got the second time for a second round. I love margaritas, which is why I want to talk about this one. So I got a Star Wars margarita. It was Patron Silver Tequila, pomegranate liqueur, lime juice, cane sugar, topped with an exotic fruit puree and rimmed with black salt. The fruit puree was weird. It was very thick. It's kind of like yogurt, but it wasn't.
Oh.
But the drink itself was actually really cool. And then I'm sure you've heard of the Fuzzy Tauntaun, right?
Yes.
The Fuzzy Tauntaun, there's actually a restaurant around in Pittsburgh where Social House has Buzz Button, where you eat this flour and it makes your mouth all numb. The Fuzzy Tauntaun has foam made from that, where you kind of drink, like you eat the foam and it makes your mouth numb and tingly. So when you drink the cold drink, it like sends like tingles all throughout your mouth. It's so weird and so cool. Really unique. My wife did not like the foam at all. She was like licking it. The waiter made fun of her.
Like, what would you have to do? Just like
I like bit it.
Okay.
So it just kind of like filled your mouth and like you got done with it soon. It took her forever because she was trying to like lick it. Then she was tasting it. It was really funny. The waiter said I could have rolled on the floor laughing or come over for a closer look, and that's what I chose to do. So he came over and made fun of her. It was very Star Warsy. Our waiter / bartender was like, bullying us a little. We like took pictures with him, and he took a picture of us, and I think he liked us because he gave us these coasters. If you've seen I don't even know where they are.
They're right.
But I've showed Dan these before. But they're like different like Star Wars brewing or alcohol brands. It's very cool. Probably going to try and frame him. He gave us a huge stack of them. It was so nice. If you know Patrick at Disneyland, that works in the cantina, please someone give him a hug. So the last thing we got in the cantina was a snack. This is called Raythan crackers and moss mousse. This is wheat chip with avocado mousse, salsa, and lime air. If I describe this to you, what do you think that we got?
Nachos.
So describe it basic for me. Like what you think this looks like?
Well, I don't know. When you say avocado mousse, is it sitting in there almost like a shrimp cocktail, and all the chips are on the outside, and you kind of just pull from it?
So that's what you're describing?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the screen, it's very hard to describe to you.
What?
There's a pool of salsa with a pool of avocado mousse is guacamole. There's a pool of guacamole on top of it with these chips that look like mountains and then foam on top of it. This was so good.
How many people could eat from this? Because
the guy gave us a knife to cut it. The four of us each got like 3 or 4 like big sized chip portions from these massive chips, and then like with plenty of stuff on it. It looks small.
Yes.
But it actually kind of did what we needed it to. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Oh, the foam.
The foam. It was weird. Lime air. I gotta make something that has lime air. Anyway, Oga's Cantina was special. Much like the Rise of the Resistance, it was wish fulfillment like you've never seen. You've always wanted to go into the cantina.
Yeah.
And sit there and have a guy be kind of mean to you and hear Star Wars music.
It's hard for me to sit here and not be jealous.
I'm sorry.
No. It's not your fault.
I'm sorry.
It's just like, I want to go.
We'll go. We'll go together. Business trip, like you said.
Let's do it.
My wife listens to these. Let's make it happen, Jen. All right. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about, believe it or not, an hour and 20 minutes in, is the experiences. And before we do that, I want to say, I told my wife I was going to introduce this as the nerdiest ever possible let me show you some pictures from my vacation.
Yeah.
It's the pulling in from outside sources to make sure I have complete pictures for you that I think pushes it over the edge.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So anyway,
breaks it up.
It does. The experience. I want to make you feel like you can genuinely assess the value of it though. Experiences. There are 2 experiences. We did one, we did not do the other. We did not do Droid Depot. It's really cool. They have other things you can buy there, so we went in, but their droid parts just flying along this conveyor belt, and you pick them up, the different pieces, and then they put them together, and you kind of have your own droid. You can buy it like accessories, like the R2-D2 bar, rack. You can do R series, B series, and C series astromech droids. It's pretty cool. Again, I think they're like $80 or something like that. It just wasn't something we were going to do this time. I might do it next time.
How big are they?
So I'm going to, like a little bigger than a foot is what I'm motioning to Dan. They're not huge. They're not to scale. But it's more like you can buy like a replica of the R2 that rolls around. It's like several $1,000s, but that's ridiculous.
That'd be pretty sweet. Have you seen the movie Benchwarmers?
Yes.
He had that.
So we could get that, but yeah, we chose not to do this.
Convert, make it a fancier Roomba.
I do have a Roomba.
I know. Could you imagine an R2-D2 Roomba?
My dog would hate it.
The nerds would go crazy.
They
Myself
would go crazy.
include an R2-D2 just rolling around the house.
When you get your big adult job, Dan is soon going to leave our workplace because he's since graduated and can get a new job. That's what you're going to buy with your adult money.
No,
you're going to go here is the first thing you're going to do.
No.
We'll talk about it. But one thing they had here that tempted me was a to scale Babu Frick replica. I'm not going to pull it out. I don't have it.
How much was it?
It was like $80.
That's it.
So I chose not to do it.
Boo.
It hurt me to leave it. If it's there next time, I'm doing it. But that brings me to the maybe the most special experience, I feel like, at Galaxy's Edge. And that's Savvy's Workshop, where you build the lightsabers. So Savvy's Workshop gives you the option to turn, they kind of pull you in secretly, and they're like, look at our pieces of scrap metal to decide what you like, because you're not supposed to have a lightsaber because the First Order's there.
Yeah.
And like it's not common. Rey's the only one that has lightsaber, and it's like you're doing this to help Rey. You don't have the Force, but they're kind of sneaking you in. And as this was happening, there's actually like the nightly firework display going on. So they kind of started us later, and we couldn't fully see it, but it was nifty. But anyway, you get the choice of these 4 different types. There's the power and control, which is like the Sith lightsaber, the protection and the defense, which is like a older Jedi, dare I say High Republic Jedi-ish kind of lightsaber, peace and justice, which is like prequel Jedi, and elemental nature, which is, nature, for lack of a better term. Looking at these, which one do you think you would pick, Dan?
That's tough. I mean, the Sith one's just like cool power and control. I feel like I'd have to go power and control.
Oh, well, you're going to get to see one because that is, in fact, what my wife chose. But the way this works is you kind of go in, and they have these trays in front of you with the base of the lightsaber and then pieces you choose from. You don't get all of them. You could buy them if you wanted to, but you only get a certain number of each piece to make your lightsabers. They then pull these kyber crystals out of this like big storage unit, and they're lit up based on like the storage unit. They don't light up on their own. And you get to pick your kyber crystal, and I talk about like the special bond of the kyber. Like you really start to kind of fall for it. And I'm going to preserve I'm going to withhold some of the details on what happens here because it really was like a special surprise. But you essentially move through and you build your lightsaber. This is in fact what mine looks like. And Dan hasn't seen these yet. So I'm going to hand it to Dan, and he can kind of assess the quality of the item.
That's heavy. It's heavier than I thought it would be. Interesting. The way it looked online, I don't want to say
it underdoes it for it?
Yes. It's pretty heavy.
It's so cool. I love the emitter.
Yes.
It has that like extra detail, and like there's text on here that the person, when I was one of the workers and I was building it, was like, you know what that says? We've lost the codex. We don't know what it says. There's a book you can buy. I did not buy it. I don't even think you can buy it anymore. It translates to Force Wielder. It's so cool. So Dan's going to turn it on. Not that that's going to do you much good listening, but it is blue.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know. So then I
was trying to press the button. It's not a button. It's a switch.
It's a switch. But that then brings us to my wife's lightsaber. And on the screen here is my lightsaber, one of my friends that we went with, or one of our friends, and my wife. So Dan's gonna look at the power and control now. Quality wise, feel similar based on the different types of.
It does.
Hers is a little smoother, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking at it, I'm not sure if I'd get it.
Oh.
And
Wow.
it's not a knock. It's, I don't know. It's.
So the color she chose, which you don't have a picture of here, is purple.
Interesting.
It was so cool though, but the way they conclude it, they make you really feel special, and they like attune your lightsaber to the Force because you're not Force sensitive.
Oh, that's cool.
And you like stick it in the side, and everyone turns it on, and it all lights up together. It's very, very cool, very, very special of an experience. And I know logically that this combination is not hard to achieve given the options you have, but I feel like it's my lightsaber.
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone else there with it. It's my lightsaber.
That's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, these are the different ones that we did. And one, I remember how I bought that yellow kyber crystal at Galaxy's Edge, or at Doc Ondar's.
Yeah. Oh, it fits in.
It fits in, and it can change the color. So you can buy different crystals and change the color of the lightsaber. And we got some. So this was, we built the lightsabers, ran to the cantina. We're a little cantina tipsy, just a little, just enough to have a bunch of fun taking goofy pictures in front of the Falcon with our lightsabers, which I will show you off air. We're not showing our faces quite yet, maybe later. But yeah, so this is the Savvy's experience. It was wonderful. And that's a souvenir that I feel like is the best I could ask for.
Yeah.
It's like, it's my own, like much like Galaxy's Edge, like an analogy for it. It's like my imprinting on the Star Wars galaxy. And I'm taking it with me.
Good way to describe it.
And it's like, it just feels so special.
And every time you see it, you'll remember your time in Galaxy.
Exactly. Like a Wayfinder, like the Wayfinder, the Convor, it's like, that's a cool Star Wars replica or item.
Yeah.
The lightsaber is like my lightsaber. So
Have you tried the Convor on it?
yes, it looks terrible.
Oh.
I'll show you. We can do it after.
I feel like it would look better on the power and control one.
Or
Just matches the color.
We can try it. We'll try it.
Just matches the color.
Yeah, it's not great on mine. But anyway, I love that. I would recommend it to anyone should your budget allow it. We'll talk about price. But it was fantastic. And I dreaded shipping them because I just wanted it the entire time until it came. I think Dan got to hear the tail end of me complaining about that.
Yes.
And my wife chose to ship it. My wife and our friend we were with chose to, we did a vote for whether we were going to pay for the more expensive air shipping or the cheaper ground shipping. It was like a $30 difference. So they rightfully chose to take a little longer. But
per saber?
Yeah, for the sabers. Or no. It was for the sabers and the Wayfinder.
Like so $30
No, it was
total?
30. It was like 40 something for all the sabers and the Wayfinder, which is not bad.
No.
But anyway, that brings us to the cost of Galaxy's Edge. We want to be very transparent with everyone about the price of this, and so you can assess whether or not this is worth it for you. So the cost of admission for Disney, and this is Galaxy's Edge for two, because it's kind of hard to tease apart like the food and all of that. So I did this for me and my wife. Admission was $533. That included tickets, parking, and Genie Plus, the basic $30 Genie Plus per ticket. And I will say these were a little higher because we did Park Hopper. There's Disney California Adventure, which is where the Marvel area and the Pixar stuff, a lot of it is.
Yeah.
This ticket does get you more than Galaxy's Edge. A lot more than Galaxy's Edge. But my favorite part was easily Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
So that's steep on its own. That's just walking in the door. So for breakfast at Ronto Roasters, what I showed you there, 2 breakfast Ronto wraps and Melu Run juice, $36.06. The milk stand for the 2 milks and the bread was $26.06. Lunch at Docking Bay 7 was $59.54. We went a little hog wild there.
Yeah, as you should.
And I feel like, because remember, this is 3 meals and the calf.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is not, like, food price wise, this is actually really good.
It didn't look to be that bad. You left one of the prices on the food.
Yeah, I know.
And I saw, I'm like,
I did. I noticed
that's
that.
about what you'd expect.
No, I feel like the price for the food was very fair. Ronto Roaster seems a little high. I'm not going to lie.
It does.
And the milk stand does seem high as well. But
milk stand,
that's the
like
novelty.
$13.
Yeah. The novelty.
Yeah.
You're gonna buy blue milk. That's I think what they know. Oga's Cantina was $104 for the 2 of us. We had split the weird crackers with our friends, so this is half of that and 4 drinks. we had bought other drinks at the Marvel area and the PIM test kitchen lab thing. Drinks are just, that's how they get you. They get you on the merchandise and they get you on the drinks.
Yeah.
And it was worth it though. I 100% would do it again. All of these things I would 100% do again. The souvenirs from Doc Ondar's, that includes the Kyber crystal and the Wayfinder. I realized I forgot to add the Convor, so we're gonna add $25 to the total. The lightsabers at Savi's for 2 was $474,
including shipping.
not including shipping. Wow, I forgot that too. So we're gonna round up a little. The transactions and Rocket Money were not Venmo inclusive. So I pulled the Cantina from Venmo, not the rest. We'll get there. But that takes us to a soft total here of $1,305.98. The Convor was $25. The shipping was, I'd say, probably like 20 something for us, 25 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts us at like $1,350 ish.
Yeah, not terrible.
How did that line up with what you thought this would cost?
I thought it was a little steeper. I thought the lightsabers would be a little cheaper.
$250 each.
Yeah, I don't. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd pay $250 for a lightsaber.
I think it's worth it. I understand why you would not want to, but for me, I would not necessarily do it again.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think it was so worth it for the experience.
And again, I don't know. Like, if I were to go and I didn't pre-book the lightsaber, you had to pre-book that, correct?
I don't think you had to. I think it's strongly recommended, though.
Okay. So
because I think they don't want to tell you no.
Yeah.
If they have spots.
So if let's say you have to pre-book it because they tell you should.
Mm-hmm. I
don't know if I would pre-book it.
And then you kind of decide.
And I get there and be like, oh, I really want one.
I really wish I did that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And my final verdict with this is I would 100%, and we're going to talk more about like concluding thoughts and stuff, but my final verdict, while the price is still on the screen, is I highly recommend this to any Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a special experience. It is more than I could have ever dreamed for. I had so much fun. I want to go back. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But only if it makes financial sense and it's responsible for you to do that.
Yeah.
And go through all of that. Because this doesn't include flights. This doesn't include lodging. This doesn't include anything. This is literally the cost of Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
We got a Buzz Lightyear churro. We got those Marvel drinks. We got, I think it was Cocoa themed something for dinner or like a little snack. Oh. Like there was stuff that we purchased that did not, clearly there's stuff that I missed too. Thank you for reminding me of that.
I'm sorry.
But no, I'm glad you did. But again, that kind of puts a total to about $1,355-ish, which is a lot of money. So again, be responsible when choosing to do something like this. It could have been way worse. I could have bought so much more that I really wanted to. Like when you see this now, does it make sense why I didn't buy Babu Frick?
But at that point, what's $80?
You heard that, wife. Anyway.
Well, throwing me under the bus. So on that note,
I kind of want to bring it to, is Galaxy's Edge worth it? And then talk about what could potentially come next for Galaxy's Edge. Dan, after hearing about all of this, seeing the cost, seeing probably the genuine joy on my face,
yes.
Do you think Galaxy's Edge is worth it? And there's nuance. It doesn't have to be yes or no. It can be yes, but I wouldn't do this.
Right now, if you were to put a gun to my head, would I go to Galaxy's Edge? Yes. Would I do all of the eating? Probably not. Mm-hmm. Would I get some souvenir? Probably. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it would be. Would I do the lightsaber? I'm not sure.
Because you could theoretically get the Dooku, for example, you get the Dooku Jedi lightsaber. Mm-hmm. That's $150.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay like $50 for a blade, so it's like $200.
Yeah.
So it would be a little less.
Yeah. And I don't know. So that's where I'm at right now with it. That again, but in the magic of the moment. I love the word magic.
You might get caught up in the magic.
Yeah. I want that.
Because they kind of, I told you it was kind of secret.
Yeah.
They kind of have it tucked in. They have it tucked in a corner. It's like in this quieter area where you have no business being unless you're doing there or just kind of walking around. Mm-hmm. So you kind of feel like, what is that? What's going on over there? And you're like, oh my God, that's where the lightsabers are. It's so cool. But for me, is that your kind of final thought on it? Is it worth it?
I think it would be.
Okay. Certain aspects of it.
Yes.
For me, is it worth it 150%? Mm-hmm. Assuming, again, it's financially responsible for you to do it. like I said, I was not sold initially on the idea of this whole immersive thing, but I loved when I bought my Wayfinder. The guy was like, "Where are you trying to go?" And I said, "Exegol," and he went, "Oh God, why?" So like interactions like that, it was just so special to feel like I'm going in and making, and again, it's a theme park, but I'm making my Star Wars story. Like I'm living a day in Star Wars.
Star Wars, Joey, a Star Wars story.
Yes, spent a lot of money is the plot of that movie. But no, the food was great. We were like, we're going here.
Yeah.
But like you do have to eat, and it is among the cheapest of the food in Disney. Everything's expensive there, you recall. And
I don't recall. I was 6.
Well, it's Disney, you can imagine, I guess. But the we hardly bought any drinks. We bought the calf and the Melee Run juice. We brought water bottles. Imagine how much that would be if we didn't.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. So like that too. Like being smart. Maybe bringing food rather than buying food to cut down. But no, it was worth it. The rides were fantastic. I would do it again 150,000%. For me, I just want to do 2 more things. I want to compare it to the Marvel park. The Marvel part was incredibly lackluster for me.
That's fair.
It just kind of felt like, I think my wife said, it feels like you're in a business park. It does. It's like there's an Avengers store, there's like the lab kind of thing, there's the little Doctor Strange thing, there's the Black Panther was kind of just standing up there, they did little shows, but it was just, there's a Spider-Man ride, it was very good, you use your, but like, it just did not feel immersive. It felt like I was kind of going through the motions of being in a Marvel park. The effort and the attention to detail and the really trying to make it special. Now, if you go back again, I don't know how special is it. I don't know.
Right.
We can talk about that next time one of us goes.
Yeah.
For 2 times. Maybe you'll let me. But it just the attention to detail makes it very, 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 very special for a Star Wars fan.
So that brings me to my question.
Okay.
If you had more time.
Yes.
And you got a 2-day pass. Do you think that would have been more worth it?
This is a great question. I don't think you need 2 days to do everything at Galaxy's Edge, clearly. If I wanted to fit in the popcorn and the Droid Depot, I 100% could have. You don't need it. If you're trying to get it done and experience everything, 1 day is more than enough. If you devote a little more time than I did. I would have liked to have either not done the other stuff. Like we went and rode Space Mountain and Toy Story Mania, and I wanted to see the Pixar stuff. They have a whole Big Hero 6 themed area, which was really cool. But if I was only doing 1 day again and I could rewind knowing what I know now, I would just spend more time just being in Galaxy's Edge. Not that there was much more to do, but just, sitting and watching the characters walk by.
Yeah.
All the cast members in their different Star Wars outfit.
Like wait for Rey.
Wait for Rey. Yeah,
that's
exactly what I mean by that.
Whatever door they're walking out of.
Stand there. Yeah, again, we didn't prioritize that, but I should have. But that's the answers. I think 1 day was plenty. But to really soak it in and think like, all right, I've spent enough time here. 2 days would probably be either one entire day or 2 days bouncing back and forth. And I will say, in Disney World, Hollywood Studios is a far smaller park. So you could go do the Toy Story stuff, maybe some of the other stuff, and just spend a lot of time in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Which might be, that'll probably realistically, God willing, be the next time that I go. With that, the only other thought I had is, I think it could benefit from another ride. What that is, I don't know. Maybe like a speeder ride, like more of a thrill ride. I'm okay. I hate theme parks, theme park rides. So I don't need anything crazy. But if the Tron one they opened where you're kind of like riding a motorcycle, it would be cool to be like
on a speeder,
maybe the First Order's chasing you and you're kind of tilting and stuff.
Would you prefer a bad guy ride, chasing Luke and Leia through Endor?
No, not in the canon.
Oh goodness, I'm so sorry.
I mean, you'd chase Rey through. I think that they go through great lengths to set you up as a civilian / resistance person.
That's fair.
I think you'd need to be running from the First Order.
That's fair.
I think it'd be really cool to do something like that, though. Like a more outside-based ride.
Like a roller coaster.
Because they're both inside. Maybe. But not a roller coaster. I think you still need to feel like you're doing something, like you're getting on a speeder. You're getting in a speeder.
Yeah.
But something a little more thrilling. Though Rise of the Resistance does have that really cool drop.
Yeah.
With that, that's about all I have. So we've kind of settled on, I love Galaxy's Edge. It's a wonderful experience. Dan wants to experience it.
Yes.
And I'm sure you will.
Hopefully.
I'm sure. But that's about all we have to add. I hope that this was informative. it was informative because it was very long, at least.
Yes.
If you've ever been, or there's something you have to comment, please feel free to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, thank you again for listening or sticking through this entire thing. But it was enjoyable. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Would do it again. Thank you so much for sticking with us through this 2-part series, and we really hope that you enjoyed it. I definitely loved Galaxy's Edge, and it was a pleasure to get to talk about it a little bit more. If you have any thoughts on Galaxy's Edge, again, please feel free to let us know. If there's any ride you'd like to see or any characters you'd like to have an interaction with. Other than that, please feel free to give us a review, or subscription on YouTube or the podcast platform of your choice. We're relatively new, and every like and subscribe helps more than you could possibly imagine. And if you're willing, please feel free to give us a follow on our socials, on X at Blue Shadow Pod or on Instagram at Blue Shadow Podcast. And we also have a Facebook page, which is Blue Shadow. With that, again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you listening and taking the time to listen to us. And have a good one, and we'll see you next time.